Naruto laid on the now empty lake of the lake at the Valley of the End, on the precipice of death, 2 holes in his jacket. He was breathing heavily and could feel his life slipping away. Next to him was the unconscious body of his former teammate, Uchiha Sasuke. A slash across his hit, and his body was in slightly better condition than Naruto. He wasn't dying. Approaching fast was one hot-take Kakashi-sensei to the 2 boys and their third teammate, Haruno Sakura, as he silently begged to not be too late. His eyes widened in both relief and worry. He saw Sasuke there, but not Naruto. Landing beside the Uchiha, Kakashi looked around for any sign of Naruto. Summoning all his Ninken and ordering them to look for Naruto everywhere, Kakashi tended to Sasuke's wounds, unaware that his target was just beside the Uchiha. Kakashi-sensei. I'm right here. Can't you see me? Naruto whispered, even in his mind, tears falling from his eyes as he neared death, not understanding why he couldn't see him. Was he doing this on purpose? Was someone else at fault? In the end, it was with malicious intent, as it was ensuring his death. Naruto, hanging on to that last bit of hope, didn't blame Kakashi, but vowed vengeance on whoever was at fault here, even if he was dying. He was Uzumaki Naruto, damn it, he made the impossible his bitch. With his summons returning with solemn expression, Kakashi knew all he needed, and hung his head in sorrow, letting the rain hide his tears. Dismissing them, and picking up Sasuke, Kakashi gave one last prayer. Naruto. I'm sorry. I wasn't there for you. I wasn't strong enough to protect you from the villagers' hatred. I wasn't a good teacher. And now, I wasn't here to save you. I'm sorry. With that, he departed the valley and headed for Konoha, traitorous genin in tow. When he left the valley, the genjutsu hiding Naruto's presence fell. Always a bit inept in the art of genjutsu, Naruto never noticed it was there, nor when it fell. He laid there, slowly dying, looking over his life. Thinking back, he was disappointed with himself. He couldn't see the signs of so many things: Hinata's perfectly clear adoration of him, Sakura's complete disinterest in him, Sasuke's path down darkness from Orochi team's curse mark. Everything was so obvious, but he didn't notice it until now. And he was dying. Move in. A monotone voice said. Suddenly, 10 figures appeared in the clearing, forming a circle around Naruto. They each had their individual quirks, but they all shared one thing: they all wore black cloaks with red clouds. The man leading the group wore an orange spiral mask, a hole over the right eye. He was flanked by 2 others, a blue-haired woman with an origami flower in her hair and stud piercing under her lower lip. The other was an orange-haired man, with a style exactly like Naruto's, soul-piercing rippled gray-purple eyes, and piercings all over his face. Further off was the dynamic duo of Hoshigaki Kisame, a gargantuan man with blue skin, and a very shark-like face as he held his precious Samada over his shoulder, and Uchiha Itachi, a stoic mane, Mingekyo sharing and blazing as he stared impassively at Naruto. Next was the zombie duo, Kakuzu of Takagakure and the Kinjutsu, Gyona, and Hidden of Yugakure, emissary of the occult Jashin. Next was the artist duo, Akasuna no Sasori in his Haruto human puppet, and the effeminate Deidara of the Iwagakure bomb division. Lastly was the oddity in Akatsuki, and that's saying something, was Zetsu, the plant man, his body half black, half white, as he stared at Naruto. Now is the final step towards my dream, a perfect world, no hate, no war, no anger, just peace. The Kyaubi is ours. The frontmost man uttered in his deep, ominous voice, not one step further. A melodious, yet threatening to the group, voice uttered. Looking skyward, Akatsuki saw the heavenly figures of 3 women as they descended from the sky. Tobi eyed them with mirth. Kill them, he ordered of Kisame and Itachi. Nodding at his order, the duo jumped, intent on finishing the fight quickly. Only for their very existence to disappear as dust in the wind. Tobi's lone eye widened, only to narrow. Deidara, say sorry, he said simply. Both artists nodded, understanding their order, and already prepared their strongest attacks. Sasori jumping from his shell and brandishing his puppet body, summoning his army of 1,000 puppets, Deidara's hand mouths, creating the clay clone for his C4 technique. Again, they were discarded as dust in the wind. Tobi growled at how these women were thinning his numbers. Hidden. Kakuzu, he barked, knowing at least Hidden wouldn't die, his false god would keep him from dying. After this was all done, he would be the only god that mattered. Bring it, you bitches. Jashin-sama will relish your blood. Hidden barked as he swung his triple scythe haphazardly, a style kind of there. Kakuzu merely rolled his eyes and summoned all four of his thread creatures, and fired a Sudan technique to join their other elemental projectiles. The second woman, in black, grabbed Hidden by his head, the Sith doing nothing, against her flawless skin, and tore his soul from his body and crushed it in her hand, ending his existence as his body fell lifelessly to the ground. Toby's eye widened again. Impossible. No one can kill Hidden. Not even me. He exclaimed in his mind. The third woman, in green, merely held her hand up, and the deadly wave of elements veered from their course and drained into her hand, leaving nothing behind. Pointing on finger at Kakuzu, the beams of elements returned, splitting into 5 beams, each piercing all his hearts, killing him as well. The first woman, the one in white, descended on Zetsu and swiped her hand across his chest, bisecting him and causing his remains to turn into a tree, the black half screaming as it was vaporized. Toby looked around as he was now left with 2 subordinates. Merely glaring at them over his shoulder, they nodded at his silent order, readying his Chibaku Tensei as Conan formed her telltale paper wings, whipping up a tornado of the scraps. Again, they were silenced with a wave of the first woman's hand, all 6 of his paths, including the original Nagato, and Conan all dying as dust. No. No. I am a god. I will not die here. Toby raved madly as he charged at the woman, foregoing his mask, showing his true identity as Obito Uchiha, former friend and teammate of Kakashi thought to be dead on the mission. Kakashi received his special eye. And yet, the second woman said, suddenly appearing in his path, grabbing his face. You will. She finished, ripping out his tainted soul and crushing him, ending the existence of Akatsuki. They turned around to their true goal, Uzumaki Naruto. Weakly looking up, he saw the bright light of his end, and gave himself to death, only to feel the warm touch of a slender hand cup his cheek. Naruto-kun? Wake up. It's not your time yet. A soothing, melodious voice cooed in his ear. Suddenly feeling the energy to move, Naruto slowly sat up, realizing he felt no fatigue from his wounds. Slowly standing up, Naruto looked around, finding he was surrounded by 3 beautiful women in an empty white room. The one that had her hand on his cheek was in pure white, even her long hair was white. This woman seemed to have some odd obsession with the tint, as even her eyeliner, lipstick, nails, and eyelashes were all white. Her eyes were a heavenly honey gold as she smiled at Naruto, rather motherly. She wore long flowing robes that showed her ample cleavage that reminded Naruto of Bao-chan, not that he stared or anything. Her sleeves dangled from right under her shoulders, showing her unblemished skin. Next to her was a woman in stark contrast to her choice of dress. She wore pure black, and her skin was lavender, reminding him of a Hyuga's eyes. Her hair was white, oddly enough, but it was more of a deathly white, in a style like an exaggerated form of Iro Sennin's, and just above her forehead peeked out 2 red horns. Her eyes were a pair of black abyss orange rings for irises as she eyed Naruto with mirth and... Was that lust? The third woman had tan skin, and the same condition of dress, in forest green, but it was torn, showing her midriff and legs that went on for days. She was barefoot and her hair was brown and curled near the tips, giving her a flirtatious look, her bright green eyes staring at Naruto with a combination of the prior women's stares. Is this heaven? It's not so bad, though I envisioned more ramen. Hot women are a nice alternative though. Naruto commented, more to himself, but the empty whiteness they were in made his voice echo, the women clearly hearing him and blushing lightly. You're not dead or dying, Naruto-kun. You are much too important to us for you to die. The lavender-skinned woman commented, capturing him in a hug. Though, due to the difference in height, his face was shoved into the valley of heaven, her breasts. You're not dead or dying, Naruto-kun. You are much too important to us for you to die. The lavender-skinned woman commented, capturing him in a hug. Though, due to the difference in height, his face was shoved into the valley of heaven, her breasts. Shini-chan. If you keep hugging him like that, he will die from suffocation. The first woman deadpanned. The one suffocating Naruto with affection, and her chest, sweat dropped and giggled nervously, releasing the boy from her Bosumi prison, laughing as he gasped for air. Sorry Kami-chan. Just got caught up in the moment. Besides, look at him. He's an adorable little gaki. She commented as she seized Naruto's cheeks and pinched them like a visiting aunt. Oh. Naruto yelped, waving his arms in the air, frantic for help from the woman assaulting his sensitive cheeks. Realizing she was hurting him, the woman lessened her grip. And those whisker marks make him look like a foxkit, she commented, rubbing her cheek against his. Deep from Naruto's throat, a low rumble sounded, and he purred. All was silent as the group of four just processed what just happened in their heads. Suddenly, the four women tackled the boy, screaming out "Kawaii!" and rubbing his cheeks and head, eliciting more purrs from him, like a lazy cat. When they finally stopped, Naruto found himself on his back, with a rather nice weight on his waist. Looking up, he blushed horribly as he realized the third woman was straddling his waist, her face red as she panted slightly, grinding her hips against him. He fought a groan that wanted to erupt from his mouth, and managed to squirm away from under her. Now is not the time for that, Kami commented, lifting the woman up by her robes, ignoring Naruto's indignant squawks about being molested. She was completely serious now. Naruto-kun, do you know who we are? She asked. Naruto shook his head, still trying to wrap his brain around the first thing that was said. He just took a fist of lightning to his heart and he wasn't going to die. What the hell is going on? We are the three goddesses that watch over your world. I am Kami, goddess of heaven, life, and light. The first said. I am Shinigami, goddess of hell, death, and darkness. The lavender beauty added. And I am Tozi, goddess of nature. The final said. And we have been watching you, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. They said together. Naruto was silent as his brain tried to reboot itself after this influx of input, process what the fuck just happened. These were the three goddesses that watched over the elemental nations, and they were watching him. The Kyaubi brat? Why me? He asked quietly, but the women heard. You have massive potential, and we aim to see it brought to fruition. You are the key to true peace for this world. Something went wrong in this world's history, and it is now diseased, stricken with hatred. Naruto-kun, we are going to give you several special gifts, then send you back in time, so you can redo your life, and bring the world down the correct path. You have many things ahead of you, Naruto-kun, and we aim to help you. Kami explained as she approached Naruto. Whoa, what gifts? Naruto asked, only for further questions to be silenced as Kami seized his lips with her own, thrusting her tongue into his mouth, engaging his own in a sensual war as Naruto felt his body change. Kami stepped back, a flirtatious smirk on her face at Naruto's reddened face, only for Shinigami to jump in and repeat the process, only adding in a little more. She raised her right leg a little bit, straddling it around Naruto's as she grabbed his hand and brought it to her breast, moaning into the kiss as she grinded her hips against him, causing him to groan in return, again feeling a change build within him. Shinigami stepped back, thoroughly satisfied for now, as she eyed the boy with open lust, especially the tent in his pants. After he was thoroughly molested, Naruto looked at the two women incredulously, only to be tackled by the final woman, Tozi. She seemed to continue what she started before, seizing his lips and grinding her hips against his manhood, through his pants. Before anything could be accomplished, the final change was built inside Naruto, and Tozi was pulled away, the three of them watching him be engulfed in a bright light. The light faded, and a new Naruto was born. Standing from the epicenter of the light, Naruto stood tall, taller than he was before. Now he was 5 minutes 10 seconds, his body toned and built to perfection, but not to the extent of a bodybuilder. His clothes were a bit tight for his new body, his pants now downgraded to shorts and his jacket was forced open, the mesh undershirt stretching to accommodate him just fine. He smirked as he opened his eyes, and showed his new Daijutsu. The new Daijutsu, Hakume Twilight Eye, his sclera black, his irises forest green, and his pupils an ever-changing myriad of colors, like a rainbow, as in the very center was a white star, like a compass rose. You now have power of light, and can heal any injury of the mind, body and soul. Kami explained her contribution to Naruto's gifts. You have power over darkness and can injure the soul. Shinigami explained. You now have control over all the elements, including what you humans call sub-elements. You can talk to and understand animals and insects, and your senses are as great as any of them. Tozi added. Your eyes are the combination of the three Daijutsu, Sharingan, Byakugan, and Rinnegan, and it is constantly evolving. Eventually, if you can think it, you can do it. We also uploaded every jutsu into your brain, and you can accomplish them without hand seals and saying the name and perfect control. Kami explained again. This time, she raised her hands to the sky, 9 colored lights forming in her grasp. She thrust them towards Naruto, watching them be absorbed into his body, more specifically, the seal. And you now hold all the Bijuu, brought together and remade into the Jaubi. You will have perfect control over its chakra. Now we send you back, you better not disappoint Naruto-kun. Kami finished with a flirtatious wink as a portal opened and Naruto was sucked in. She turned to her sisters. Well girls, looks like we got a little talk with Konoha. She said cheerfully. Too cheerfully. We gonna fuck them up? Shinigami asked with her evil grin. Oh, we'll fuck them up real good. She answered with her own grin as they descended on Konoha. The elemental nations just lost the strongest village, by an act of the gods. With Naruto. Naruto was flying through the portal of reality as he made his journey back in time. The Naruto in the past was currently snickering as he marveled over his artwork. He had just repainted the Hokage monument. Suddenly, he was engulfed in a white light, and was replaced with the newly changed Naruto from the future. Naruto looked around, finding he was at the exact point where one of the more misunderstanding Anbu attacked him, not just for what he did. He sighed as he sensed the chakra signature of Anagi. Hello, Anagi team. Naruto drawled. Demon. Anagi said out loud, brandishing his tanto. Naruto sighed. We really gonna do this? He asked, only for his answer to be a rush of the Anbu baying for his blood. He sighed again and thrust his hand forward, his arm instantly turning into stone and several shards forming on it. With a mental command of Iwafabuki, they flew forward, catching the Anbu off guard with a child, knowing an elemental jutsu, costing him his life as the shards peppered his body, eventually piercing most of his vital organs, resulting in a near-instant death. Staring at the body disinterestedly, Naruto subsequently disappeared in a yellow flash, appearing home, ignoring the ensuing havoc his killing of an Anbu created. He sighed. He seemed to be doing that a lot lately. Looking around his little home, Naruto sighed at the dilapidated abode. I dealt with this for 12 years. He quietly questioned. Shaking his head, he grabbed one of the small clay figures he procured from a trash can and used chakra to mold it, using his new explosion release to make the clay from his old life useful. Breaking it apart into smaller bits, Naruto successfully formed 4 clay spiders, and sent them to the 4 corners of his apartment as he left, walking towards the Hokage Tower. If everything went as planned, they would be put to use. Upon entering the tower, Naruto ignored the secretary's attempts to stop him, claiming the Hokage was busy, and eventual threats of bringing in the Anbu. Opening and closing the doors silently, Naruto walked into the office, frowning at his grandfather figure. Jii-sen, we need to talk. Naruto said plainly. Naruto-kun? Is everything okay? You seem subdued. Hiruzen commented. Indeed, Naruto seemed as if he had a great weight on his shoulders. His eyes lacked that normal vibrancy he knew to expect of Naruto. Look, I'm going to cut to the chase. I know about my inheritance. Naruto responded. Indeed, alongside the Jutsu Kami, Shinigami, and Tozi gifted him with, they also provided him with information they felt pertinent to his life, such as his parents, the truth of the night of his birth, and the 2 main figures at fault for the previous timeline's state of affairs, Uchiha Obito and Black Zetsu. They explained that Zetsu was the manifested will of the Rikyu Senin's mother, Otsutsuki Kaguya, and he manipulated the entirety of shinobi history in a convoluted plan to revive Kaguya, masquerading himself as an ally and pawn of Obito, who planned to enact the Tsuki no Mi to bring the world under one giant genjutsu to erase pain and hatred and war. Of course, that was some heavy shit, so Tsurutobi didn't need to know that. Oh, also, Jii-san's alive. It took all of Naruto's willpower to not break down when he saw the final, definitive proof that this was the past. The Sandaime was alive and well.